New Year's resolutions are bullshit. And not because you don't mean well, or not because people don't mean well, but because resolutions are emotional wishes. They're hopes and dreams. They're not gonna give you any direction in 2026. So every January, we collectively decide that this is a moment where we're gonna set resolutions. You know, this year will be different. New year, new me. This is gonna be my year. We hear it every year around. Yeah, by February, if you even make it with your resolutions until February, you see that nothing has changed. It doesn't matter how many of these journals and, idea things, new pens, new things for your office you're gonna buy. By the time that a week or 2 or 3 have passed, we see same life, same patterns, same frustration, just a better stationery, which is nice, but it's not really gonna help you through life. So today I want to talk about something much more powerful than your New Year's resolutions. I want to talk about goal setting, because this is gonna make a real change in your life. And goal setting is not calendar based, it's not motivational, it's not one big moment that we all work towards or decide as a society that now this is going to be it. Real goals, the kind that actually move you forward in life. That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to look a bit into the science behind goal setting and the motivation that comes with that. I'm going to explain to you one of the most powerful tools that we have in the consciousness coaching that I use on a daily basis, and I explain to all my clients. We work with this a lot in the one-on-one coaching, and I will also tell you a bit about my background story of what my life looked like before I discovered this and learned all this, and how that all changed when I learned about this tool and what it looks like now, because I can tell you already, huge difference. So let's start with that uncomfortable truth. New Year's resolutions, like I said, they usually fail. And they fail because they're vague, they're very emotional based, socially conditioned, and completely disconnected from action. I'm very sorry to say that, but it is just the truth. They usually are phrased like, I want to be happy, I want to be fit, I want to become more healthy, I want to grow, I want to quit smoking, I want to drink less. These are things that I hear a lot. I heard them this New Year's Eve again. And I've been hearing them on the loop for the past few years. Great intentions, zero direction. So psychology also backs this up. I'm gonna look into some research that I've read around this topic. Let's start with a meta-analysis of 2023 on goal pursuits that showed that goals without specificity and commitment rarely leads to long-term behavioral changes. So the brain doesn't respond to hopes and dreams. It responds to clear signals. That's really what showed out of this research, that our brain needs those clear signals. Our nervous system needs to know, what are we moving towards, by when, and what does this commitment look like. Without that, it's not like you will necessarily fail with everything, but you'll just be drifting around what you would like to see or hope to see in life. So that's also like the feeling that comes with that. So let's look into those goals. They're not about putting pressure on yourself, but more about a direction, that orientation in life. So when you set a real goal, something important happens neurologically. Also this happens. Your brain starts filtering your reality differently. 2024 study in behavioral neuroscience showed that goal clarity increases perceived control, which directly impacts your motivation, your resilience, and your persistence. Okay, let me just translate that for you in some normal language. It means that when you know where you're going, when your brain and your nervous system know where you're going, everything feels a bit lighter, easier, and even when it's hard, you will have this direction and you know what you're working towards. You have a bit of that picture of the future, and your brain is like a program trying to create that in your life. So these goals give you direction, focus, and decision-making power. Very important one, because to achieve your goal, you need to grow, you need to evolve, and along the way, you need to make a lot of decisions. Let's say that you want to quit smoking every day, 10, 20 times, you need to make the decision to maybe not smoke that cigarette, or not go outside, or not go to a club where people are smoking, to avoid that distraction. So you need a clear goal so that you know what decision you have to make at all these moments in the day. So that's very key in personal development. You don't grow by accident, you grow by choice, and we need to keep making these choices. I'm going to put a link in the description again for this research because I thought it was very interesting, and there's one thing I really want to zoom into, which is the explanation of how to change your behavior, because that is what we need in order to achieve our goals, right? They're usually built around a change in behavior that needs to happen for you to learn something, to start something or stop something. Things need to change. You need to change, and your behavior on a day-to-day basis needs to change in order to achieve your goals. So it turns out behavior isn't just about doing it. It's a balance between two very different forces, the way and the will. And that's what I want to look into a bit more now. The first dimension, which is what we call the way, it's the how to. So this is basically your toolkit. It involves your skills. Do you actually know how to do something? And this is what we see a lot. If our goals are vague, or if they're still very intentional, it could be that you still need to learn something. Your toolkit is just not fit for achieving that goal. So that means that you need to know exactly what is my goal, my end goal, and then you can see what do I need to learn to achieve that, and you can start working on that. That's the second part of the way, is the steps. Do you have a clear map of what to do first, second, third, in the right order? Because that's very important. With learning, you cannot really start at the end. You need to start at the beginning, take these steps in the right order so that you can build up these skills as well. And then the last one is brain power. It involves focus, memory, and self-control. Very important one, something we're lacking a lot more and more in these digital eras. So skills, steps, and brain power. If you want to start coding, let's say that's something you want to do, you want to build a website or learn how to make an app, you want to start coding, but you don't know that language. Coding is a language, so you need to learn this. If you lack the way, the skills, and the steps to learn this, no amount of wanting it or wishing it, or no amount of New Year's resolutions is gonna help you write that code, develop that app. You really need to take these steps. So the second dimension is the will, the want to. It's what we call that. This is your fuel. I talk about this a lot, of course, on the channel here and on Instagram. That little fire inside of you, we all have it. Sometimes it's just very small and we need to reignite it a bit. But your will is very important if you want to change your behavior, if you want to set new goals and achieve these goals. So your fuel, it consists of your desire. How much do you actually want this? We circle back to the quitting smoking or quitting drinking. It's for a lot of people, it's one of the two. You really need to want it. If you lack that desire to actually want it, if it's not your goal, but it's a societal goal, Stoptober is something a lot of people start when they stop drinking or smoking. If you just do that because it's October and because the whole society is stopping now, but you actually don't desire it, very big chance that it's not going to happen, or not for a long time. So desire, how much do you actually want this? Second one is priority. Is this more important than anything else that is going on in life? Is it more important than your sleep? Is it more important than scrolling on your apps? Is it more important than Netflix? It has to be a priority in your life. Let's say that you want to start running a 5K. It's also a New Year's resolution I hear a lot. If you want to start learning or training for a 5K, it needs to be a priority. It needs to be more important than staying in bed for half an hour in the morning. It needs to be more important than being on the couch from 7 p.m. on and watching Netflix. Last one, drive. The raw motivation that gets you off the couch. Again, you need that drive in life. Sometimes you might know exactly how to go for a run, but if it's raining or snowing, like it's been here for the past week, if it's cold outside or if it's too hot in the summer, if you don't have that drive, if you lack the will, it's not gonna happen. Maybe once or twice, but you won't stick to it. So the takeaway: to change behaviors, you have to troubleshoot both of these. If you have motivation but you're stuck, then you have a way problem. You need a better plan. If you have a plan but you're not starting or you're not following through, you have a will problem. So you need a stronger why. You need to look into, why do I want this? So looking at these things, looking at your goals, your New Year's resolutions, looking at the changes changes you want to make in this year, start asking yourself the question, do I need more skill or do I need more drive? And see where that takes you. And as soon as you start working on one of these, or maybe it's both, if you start working on both of them, you will see that you will start moving forward. Again, every day you will take these steps, you will see things change, you will see your own behavior change, things around you as well to help you support achieving this goal. You will start walking on that path, which is, if we talk about motivation, it's gonna keep you motivated. It's going to be like a momentum, you know, that fuel to keep going. From that, let's go into my personal story. Before I will explain this tool, I will get into the tool on how to set these powerful goals for yourself that you will achieve this year. I wanted to tell a bit about my own story because I've been through this process a few times. If I'm being honest. And this is about how the goal setting, so when I learned about this goal setting tool, that made a big impact on my life. It actually changed my life completely. So for a long time, I also felt lost. I've talked about this before in videos, but you know, it was mainly already during my studies, but especially the phase after that, I felt a bit lost, looking for my own identity. I traveled, came back, and then started my own business. But again, it was something I knew that I wanted, and I knew what I wanted to achieve with starting a business, but there was still not really a clear direction. So also not a lot was happening, if I'm being honest. And I knew that I wanted to achieve certain things, but somehow nothing really moved. I was busy, I worked hard, I had an income, but it was just not really fulfilling and not really, yeah, I didn't really know what was missing, but it was not going as big as I wanted and also definitely not as fast as I wanted it. So during my studies to become a consciousness coach, I already had my business. I discovered something that changed everything for me. And that was the power of the word. And I don't mean like affirmations. It's not about positive thinking or more spiritual tools like that. It's really something much more concrete. And that is backed up by all the science I just talked about. Okay, so here's the general idea. Your word is not just communication. So we have our language. Let's say our language is not just used for communication, but it's also a creative force that is within that, within the words that we use, within the language that we use. So in the consciousness coaching, we talk about a speech act, which is a commitment, but we call it a speech act. And a speech act is not phrased like I want or I would like to, I hope that, like our New Year's resolutions. It's not phrased with that kind of language, but a speech act is I will. It's a commitment and it's already an action. So it's a verbal commitment, very clearly defined in space and time. And we call it a speech act, like I said, because it's already an action. You say, I will grow my business by X amount before Y. I will finish this education by, and put a date on it. I will lose this amount of weight by, you know, it's very specific in what is going to happen, and it's already a fact. We just need to get there in time to achieve it. So according to this framework, the speech act is an action in itself, and every action that you take in life has a consequence or has an effect in your life. So if you keep setting these commitments in this way, if you keep phrasing your goals like this, that means that it will have a direct effect on your life, direct changes, like science already agreed upon. 2023 study on commitment and self-regulation that showed that public or internal commitments phrased as decisions significantly increase follow-through compared to intention-based language. So intention-based, again, is the wishes, the hopes, and the dreams. And commitments are the I will, I am going to. And that's also your brain that's doing that work again, because your brain hears, we're serious, this is gonna happen. And in order to survive, we now need to look into what skills do I need to learn to achieve that goal, because it's gonna happen. So I better be prepared. And this is also something that I really experienced back then. I learned how to set these commitments. I started working with speech acts for my personal development, but especially for my business, and I still do that. And once I stopped the wishing and the waiting and the wanting, but started committing, everything kind of accelerated. Everything started to move really quickly for me as well. My business grew so fast that within 2 months I could actually stop my side hustle. I was still working in the kitchen a few nights a week in a restaurant, and I could stop doing that within 2 months after working with this goal setting. Finished my coaching education within 6 months, even though there was a year and a half planned for it. So that moved very quickly, and even before I finished and got my coaching diploma, I already had paying clients. It was obviously a new direction that I had to take my business in as well, but that moved very quickly. And not because I worked harder, but just because I learned how to set these goals and how to make my brain work for me as well. And my energy finally had direction. We talked about that in the last video, so if you missed that or it's something you need some refreshment on, be sure to go watch that. This is also when I stopped tying my goals to a calendar. That's just not a thing for me anymore. I don't have New Year's resolutions. I don't set my goals on Thursday and start them on Monday. If I have a new goal, it starts today and I start doing the work now and not later. Because it doesn't matter. We don't have to wait for the first of the month or first day of the week or a season to start doing something. It doesn't work like that. I have goals. I have them all year round and I keep working on them. I keep working with them as well. So whenever I start feeling stuck, or when I start to feel that my momentum is slowing down, or when I feel misaligned sometimes, with me usually that comes physical signs, and then also just, start becoming a bit tired. And that's when I start noticing I need to change something. And the first thing I do is go back to my goals. What do I need to reassess? What do I need to recalibrate? What do I need to change? Because your goals are not set in stone. Maybe the end goal is something that you still want to work towards. But as you grow, your goals need to grow with you as well. As you learn new things, you need to adjust your goals sometimes. If you build out that toolkit, you learn things and maybe that changes the direction of your goal a little bit. Your drive can change, especially if we have life events like finishing college, buying a house, getting a kid, stuff like that. If it happens, your drive also changes. So that doesn't necessarily have to change your goal, but maybe the way that you phrased it or the time frame needs to be adjusted. And that's fine, and it's very important that you take time to reassess as well every now and then. Growth isn't seasonal, and neither is your direction, I would say. Yeah, so that's basically all I wanted to share today about goal setting, about New Year's resolutions and why I don't have them and I don't go along with that, and I also don't really believe in them. But still, if you have some New Year's resolutions, have a look at them and change them into a goal. Change them into a speech act and see what that can do for you today. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, yeah, I feel ya, I have that as well. There's so much I want and so much I keep wishing for. I just don't know how to get that direction, how to set these goals, how to use my language, use my words to actually support me in life. Then yeah, that's exactly where the goal setting begins. So be sure to find me on Instagram at The Reinvention Project. Send me a DM, tell me that you're done with the New Year's bullshit and you're ready to set your goals, or just DM me goal and I'll get back to you and we can start this process. So go set your goals. They won't limit you, they will liberate you. And comment, let me know, what will your goals be for 2026? What are you working on and what are you achieving today?